So when I think of companies like Netflix or Trader Joe's or Costco, I think of success. And I think what's behind this success is their customer centric approach to just about everything. These companies know how to create value and they know how to communicate it to their customers. In this talk, I want to address just that, how to create value and how to communicate it. I also want to talk about it within the framework of customer relationship management. And then I want to address some more modern tools in order to support these different facets of customer, um, of creating customer value and communicating it as well within marketing. So first off, how do we create customer value or communicate it? So I think we need to understand what drives value for customers. So if we have a customer, we need to understand what they want. And that can be done by taking surveys or any other qualitative approach and then trying to figure out those opportunities and exploiting them in order to give the customer a better value. We also need to understand our value proposition. So when it comes to value that a customer receives, it's equal to the benefit of the product or the service minus the cost. So we need to understand where our product or service fits within that and what the customer is actually getting from that. And then we also need to identify customers and segments where we can create more value relative to the competition. So it's going to depend on demographic, it's on geographical location, and just seeing what we can do in order to sort of exploit these different factors in order to give the customer more value relative to the competition. And finally, we need to focus on our primary customer base. We need to have that defined, and we need to allocate the resources to the customers that we believe are going to be the profitable ones in the future, not customers who we think we're probably just going to waste our time on. Okay, so now that we kind of got that in context, let's talk a little bit about customer relationship management. So, what is customer relationship management? Customer relationship management is the overall process of building and maintaining profitable customer relationships by delivering superior customer value and satisfaction. One facet of that is customer equity. Well, customer equity is the total combined customer lifetime value of all the company's current and potential customers. So it's actually about 5 times cheaper to keep an old customer than it is to acquire a new one. So for example, Stuart Leonard, who is the owner of 4 supermarkets in Connecticut and New York, he said that it costs him about an estimated $50,000 every time a customer left his store permanently. And so this kind of shows the importance of customer relationship management and also sort of defining customer equity as well. Kind of give us a better idea of what's actually happening here. Because attracting and retaining customers, it can be extremely difficult. So we need to have this approach, this thought out approach to this. And part of it is customer perceived value. So the way customers perceive what you're giving them. And so customers they're not objective, right? Their market offerings that you're giving, they're often relative to with competition offers, and they're not the customers don't value these based off of cost accurately or objectively. It's just based off of perceived value. So, for example, if we want to make sure that we are effective in this, if we're selling a Rolex or a Lamborghini or a Steinway piano, higher end items, our customers perceive value. Those customers are going to have a different idea of what's worth how much money compared to somebody who's buying a Cobalt or a Walmart watch. So yeah, and then another element of this is customer satisfaction. So this is going to depend on the product's perceived performance relative to the buyer's expectation. So if the product's performance falls short of the expectation, then the customer is dissatisfied. If the product matches or if it exceeds, then the customer is highly delighted. And that's where you're going to start getting loyal customer bases. This is kind of what's happened with Trader Joe's or Chick-fil-A. You almost have this evangelical approach to these places where people are literally they are spokespeople for these companies without even being paid. And I want to mention one other thing too. Price is not the only competition point when it comes to value. You have to find a balance here between profits and customer value, because you can always compete on profits, but there'll be a point there where you're just going to end up losing your shirt, cutting your profit margins. Another element to this is defining customer relationship levels and tools. So a company can build customer relationships at many levels depending on the nature of the target market. So, for example, P&G Tide detergents, they don't focus on any sort of extravagant marketing routines. They don't invest a lot in getting to know their customers super well, because they don't need to, for just because of the nature of the product that they're selling. It doesn't require that. So, in order to be efficient within our marketing strategy, we need to understand sort of which relationships are required and how many resources we need to allocate towards these different things. So now I want to talk a little bit about this marketing tools, and that's mostly going to be customer engagement marketing via social media, and then customer generated marketing, also via like social media platforms. So first off, there's a lot of change that's been occurring uh, uh, within the customers and the brand relationship. The internet, and the online, mobile, social media, they've changed the way people all around the planet relate and connect to one another. And in order to promote this, the value, company or customer value, and communicate value for a product, we have to understand this. So um, like I already mentioned, customer engagement marketing. So, and this is fostering direct and continuous customer involvement in shaping brand conversations, brand experiences, and brand community. Um, so this goes beyond just selling a product, but it actually goes into being a meaningful part of the customer's conversation and lives. Um, so that it actually it adds another facet to this whole thing too, because it's not we're not now just embracing customer relationship management, but we're also looking at customer managed relationships, which is how customers connect with each other and share their brand experience. um, So, for example, an example of this would be Coke Share Coke campaign, where Coke put the names of various people on a bunch of different Coke bottles, and they encouraged people that if they had a bottle with their name on it, they take a picture, share it on social media. And this campaign, it was extremely cheap for Coke, and it actually is estimated that it upped their sales in the U.S. by about 2%. Um, and So it's just a way of keeping the customers engaged with the relevant brand message. And the other part of this is customer generated marketing, which is basically customers themselves are playing a role in sharpening their own brand experience and those of others. So this is a good way of um, giving the company the idea of what customers find valuable, and also letting the customers sort of do the work for them. And the Coke example that I just mentioned was sort of an example of this as well. But Airbus did the same thing when they're designing their 320 Neos with the seat dimensions going from 15 inches to 18 inches. And also Starbucks did another thing similar to this, where um, they sold their coffee cups with nothing on them, essentially encouraged people to make designs. And then within 4 weeks or 3 weeks, excuse me, there was 4,000 cups, and they gave the best one. It was a limited edition Starbucks cup, and that helped Starbucks build relationships with their customers, and also helped with the customer value and communicating that value as well. So that's about all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for listening.